How did you decide to enter this puja space?
I wanted to do some things like, we want to do some puja, we want to do certain rituals, certain puja. And somewhere I felt either I didn't have the knowledge or I didn't know how to go about it. Like, where do I get the stuff?
Well, there would be a puja kit for Satyanarayan Puja, or
Yes.
there would be a puja kit for Diwali Puja.
Correct.
And it will have all the ingredients that are needed for that puja. So, transporting you back to your 12th standard, after 12th, you were at NIFT. Which course did you choose at NIFT?
Specialization into jewelry. यार पढ़ाई में मन नहीं लगता तो क्या होगा easy? And I thought fashion कर लेते हैं, design कर लेते हैं, easy होगा.
Welcome to the Untitled Show. Today we have with us Shruti Jindal, who's an alum of NIFT, and she's been working with a lot of brands including Snapdeal, Home Shop 18, Men's XP, Pop Exo, Times Internet, and the list goes on. She's also recently started her own entrepreneurial journey. She started a brand called Har Ghar Puja. So welcome to the show, Shruti.
Thank you, Bhavna. Thank you for having me here.
So, all right, let's dive right in. Your brand is called Har Ghar Puja.
Correct.
So, what does the brand stand for, and how did you decide to enter this puja space?
So, very honestly, Bhavna, it just happened. It just happened. So, Har Ghar Puja is actually, I would say, my youngest baby. Very, very close to my heart. It is simply only about how you simplify puja. And I would say, I've been into the space for almost 2 decades now. Been into D2C brands, building brands, understanding how it works, what does, and everything. We've always looked. So when I had my baby and I was looking at what next now, I've just been thinking, I realized, with my daughter Arahi, I wanted to do some things. We want to do some puja, we want to do certain rituals, certain puja. And somewhere I felt either I didn't have the knowledge or I didn't know how to go about it. Like, where do I get the stuff? So that's when, we just thought there is a need there is a gap, there is a need. And that's where Har Ghar Puja came in. And we thought of doing something, something which kind of makes it easy for people like us. For example, so what exactly Har Ghar Puja does, it basically makes traditions very simplified. Your traditional, the way you worship makes it very simplified. While we're deeply, we're very deeply rooted into inclusivity, into convenience. So what we do is we provide we provide you with curated puja kits, which will give you a step-by-step video guide also on how to do the puja. It's for the people who don't know the ritual but want to do it confidently as well. So that's where Har Ghar Puja came in, and that's what we do, and we're hoping. And of course, like we say, fortune follows the bold, and that's what we're exactly trying to do with Har Ghar Puja.
Oh, lovely. So you said there are puja kits. So for example, there would be a puja kit for Satyanarayan Puja, or
Yes.
there would be a puja kit for Diwali Puja.
Correct.
And it will have all the ingredients that are needed for that puja.
Yes, we're trying to build that. Of course, we're learning. We're also gradually learning from people. But yes, the puja kit will have everything. When it's Diwali, it will have end-to-end everything. Be it haldi, roli, chawal, anything, Lakshmi Charan, your pen, your paper, whatever you need for that puja is going to be in that box. And it's just not, so it's going to be about Diwali puja. We started, like I said, it's my youngest baby. We started somewhere around 3 months back. Our first experiment was the Diwali puja kit, which, we only tried with a very small number somewhere around, I think 250-300 boxes, and we were just sold out. So that's what we did. And now the next coming up would be something like a holy kit. We'll have Basant Panchami, we'll have Shivratri, we'll have different other kind of things. So yeah, that's the whole idea.
So transporting you back to your 12th standard, after 12th you were at NIFT. Which course did you choose at NIFT?
So I did my specialization into jewelry.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Yeah.
how come you chose such an offbeat profession and career at that point of time?
I'll be very honest. I came from a very traditional family, wherein back then it was felt like, I come from a traditional Baniya Marwari family where girls are supposed to get married very quickly. And padhai mein man nahi lagta tha, honestly. I didn't feel like studying at all. So anytime somebody would, had a huge joint family and someone would ask my cousin, what do you want to do? He would say doctor. And I started thinking, yaar padhai mein man nahi lagta, to kya hoga easy? And I thought, fashion kar lete hai, design kar lete hai, easy hoga. And but that was a thought process, but in tonality I also realized I always loved how raw concept became transformed into pleasant products, into tangible products. And creativity and passion, मारवाड़ी लड़कियों को creativity तो भर भर के दी जाती है, बचपन से दी जाती है, हमें सिलना आता है, हमें sketching करना आता है, हर चीज़ सिखाई जाती है. Somehow I liked that also, and that's what became like a thing to be NIFT. NIFT was a natural choice, obviously, because it nurtures that kind of talent. It basically transforms a person into design and creativity, and of course, they make you understand the business concept in fashion. So the whole idea and the fashion, like what I was, the personality which was obviously आपको घर में जो कराया जाता है, it became like that, like that fashion was a canvas which is a perfect expression for blending that art and creativity and strategy all together, and NIFT became the standpoint to start all of this.
Oh, lovely. So after that, after having done your courses in jewelry making, how did you end up in brand management at these different brands that I just spoke about?
So it just happened on its own. I realized like I had this very strong this thing for product, and the kind of person I am, adaptation is something I quickly learned. Like I started with jewelry, got into garments, got into different spaces, got into e-commerce, got into retail, in different sectors. I was even into pet care, skin care, and different things. The entire idea has always been about products. Product is something which always excites me. And then building the whole universe around it is very exciting. So when people think like aapne NIFT kar liya, design kar liya, ho gaya. It's just not only about design. It is more to it. Now, how do you market your product? How do you make sure there's a right consumer fit for your product? How do you make sure that, how do you make sure it's going to the right audience? How do you make sure it is sold well? How do you build that trust? There's so many other things also which is around the product, and that's what excited me. And the switch naturally happened. Like, so I guess I was lucky to meet mentors and guides in life like that, wherein people saw something in me and they thought like, it's okay, this, they took that leap of faith in me. I still remember I came from a complete fashion industry, and ILN CEO, Mr. Angad Bhatia, he took that leap of faith in me. He was like, he told me in my interview while he was having that chat with me, he told me, I look at you and I can tell you, tum kuch bhi kar sakte ho. Tomorrow if I tell you to make a television, you'll be able to make a television also and sell it. And that's where the journey started, like, different industries came in.
So you said you were lucky to find the right guides and the right people who could spot you and could, see that you could do a certain role. What do you think were those qualities or skills, or say some things in your attitude that hit the right spot?
I think most importantly, solution-oriented approach, problem-solving approach. I always knew how to solve the problem. Adaptability. I could adapt to any situation, any time. I'm selling jewelry right now, but tomorrow you would find me doing garments, because I would try to understand the market, the consumer, the universe, the space, and build things around it. So I feel somewhere problem solving approach and adaptability, and of course you need to be a good human. Somewhere I can put hand on my heart and say like, I've done the right things, and that's where you make your connections, you make your team, you build positivity around you. That kind of helped me, I think.
Right. Very interesting, because problem solving, whenever I've asked all the different leaders who we've interviewed so far, what is that one skill that you look for? They've always mentioned problem solving as one of the top skills that they look for, and that skill is never going to get old. That skill was relevant 100 years back.
True.
It will remain relevant 100 years from now. That's very interesting that we see these patterns in everyone who sort of is entrepreneurial or has a leadership streak in them. So lovely. So, out of all the brands that you've worked with so far, which one did you enjoy working with the most? I know it's a little tricky for you, but
I
still,
do.
maybe there could be, one brand in mind.
It's like you asking me to choose, like, which baby do you love the most? Which child do you love the most? But I'll probably give you instances in different companies what we've done. I think I would say my most recent stint, actually recent nahi, 5 saal ho gaye hain, but it's so close to my heart that it feels like yesterday. It was Men's XP Mud. So Times Internet, I'm sure everyone knows about Times Internet. So Times Group had that aspiration to have their own D2C brands, and that's what we did. So we started with Men's XP. We had different companies, Men's XP, IDEVA. We started with Men's XP first. We wanted to make a brand, an e-commerce, a D2C brand for them, a D2C brand for Men's XP. And that's where, voila, came in Mud. And Mud was basically men's brand, men's beauty brand, I would say. We were the first in the industry to launch men's makeup, which kind of garnered a lot of attention. We turned significant heads across the industry. Everyone heads turned. We had the eyeballs because we were tapping into the cutting edge. We were basically, it was like an uncharted territory where nobody had got into, and it was quite appealing for the millennials. It was fresh, revolutionary product. What we did was we introduced men's makeup. We called concealer a concealer. We called BB cream a BB cream. We were not talking about aap safed ho jayenge, aap white ho jayenge, aap gore ho jayenge. We were talking about own yourself, own your color, own your brand. And at that time, a lot of people, so obviously when you're with a company like Times, you have the mic to do a lot of research. We spoke to so many men around, and we understood that there were people who were using makeup, but they didn't want to come out. They didn't want to say it, and they were straight. There's a huge paranoia around, you are probably not straight if you're using makeup, which was very sad. That was not true. So that's when we thought, if you want to be in the industry, and of course there was a business strategy or decision to be made at that point. We wanted to make money as well. I'm talking about 5 years back when there was Beardo, where there was Ustra, Bombay Shaving. Bombay Shaving was all about shaving product. Ustra was all about skincare. And again, beard oil and everything. And, all of these companies knew what they wanted and, got into the space. And we were late. We were kind of late. So we didn't know what we thought about it. Now, how do you get that attention? And then we realized, obviously there is that a lot of jargon around how you want to be different. You want to be appealing to your consumer, because consumer right now has changed. There's a shift in the consumer. Consumers become very smart. It's not the 30-year back consumer. The consumer is the millennial. It's the Gen Z. So that's when we came up with this whole idea of doing makeup. And I think we sold about 20,000 BB cream in about 3 months' time, which was a huge number because nobody believed it could happen. So yeah, that was something very, very close to my heart, because I think we did something different out there. We did something very, very different. But I can keep going on about different things which we did in different this thing.
No, amazing. These are the kind of anecdotes that we look for sure. And so you said that a lot of these men weren't accepting that they do makeup, and then at that time they would be using the products that are created for a female skin.
Correct.
Yeah?
Correct. They were for female skin, and when you ask them where do you get it, so they would say I use my moms, I use my sisters. That's what am I doing. That is what we are doing. So yeah, that's how they use their makeup, and then we were like, this is the time we should have the brand coming in, which talks about these products.
Okay, and then did you approach certain influencers? How did the whole influencer marketing go?
Of course. So we had, we were blessed. We had Ankush Paguna, we have Siddharth Batra, we have Santu, we have all of these people in-house at that point. And Men's XP's editor, Namrata, was there. So, of course, the god of all of these things, Angad Bhatia, was there. So we used all these influencers. Siddharth had envisioned the entire brand with us. The Ankush had made sure that, the makeup is used. In fact, we did our first digital cover on Men's XP, one of the Men's XP cover. Aditya Roy Kapoor also did use that makeup on that thing, and he spoke about males' makeup and everything. So, yeah.
So, because you are into the whole puja space, How have you seen behavioral trends change when it comes to following traditions? What is it that you think our generation, millennials, Gen Zs, are looking for when it comes to? I mean, I'm not very sure of how many Gen Zs are into that space, but what kind of changes have you noticed in the Indian household?
Bhavna, from what it used to be ages ago when we were young, I still remember every time when I would be going to, going back to my college. So, when I would be going to Bangalore or Ahmedabad, my mom would do my tika. She would do that small tika before every flight. I was like, Mama, what are you doing? Tika every time. She would do that tika and send me. And मैं गाड़ी में बैठते ही वो टीका हटा देती थी. Used to find it very sadly used to find it very uncool. ये क्या है? Coming from a very spiritual family and everything, it was quite a shocker. However, what I noticed right now is very different. It's a thing. I wouldn't say it's a cool thing, but it's a thing. People have become very accepting towards this thing, and this is something which I'm noticing with these new generations. They're very confident about who they are. They're very, very confident about who they are. So that shift, they want to be connected to the traditions. They want it to be spiritual. They want to do the rituals, but you can't force them to do it. And you can't tell them, you can't force them to do it. And more importantly, I would say...
And you can't tell them that only a Pandit will come and do it.
Yes. Correct. You can't tell them the Pandit will do it. And they want to know the reason behind it. They will not, that's the thing. They would not blindly follow it. They want to make sure if they're doing something, there's a reason. There's a reason why they're doing it. In fact, that's something I'm noticing in my 2-year-old brat also, like my daughter. When she's doing the tika, she says, Mama, why am I doing why am I doing the tika? The why is there, and that's with the Gen Zs, with the millennials. So that's that is the biggest change I've noticed in the consumer. They want to do things, but they will not do it blindly. You have to tell them. And one of the most important thing is convenience and accessibility is extremely important. So they want to, like I said, my brand is it's deeply rooted into inclusivity and convenience. They want convenience. They want everything. So they want that tradition. It's like, like I said, the brand is about, the flame. You keep the flame alive while making sure it adapts to the modernity. And that is what we are doing. So that's a shift I've noticed in the Gen Zs. They do want to do things, but their way. They're more conscious. Sustainability, eco-friendly products. That's very important. They would do the traditional practice, but in the right way. They feel these things. Somehow, maybe 15 years back, it didn't matter to us, we are using paper or we are cutting plants. This is very important to them, which is very, very good. They will look at things like, sometimes there's a reason why 10 years back, we would never talk about gender equality, or we wouldn't put a picture of that woman doing something on a website. But now that message is very important, that, okay, we're talking about gender equality, we're talking about fair wages, we're talking about natural sourcing, we're talking about, how you paying the fair wages to the farmer. All of these questions are there in these people's mind, which probably never came to me 15 years back when I was that young. मुझे तो important था price क्या है, इनके लिए price भी important है, कहाँ से आ रहा है वो भी important है, किसने बनाया है वो भी important है, कैसे बनाया है. So that's the shift that is the shift we've seen in these kids.
Exactly. And so I remember that sometime back there was this news about agarbattis and duas and the problems that when it is chemically manufactured, तो क्या problems आ सकते हैं. So are you sort of trying to address that in your products?
Yes, we are. I wouldn't say we've 100% eliminated it, but we are making sure we're trying to make sure we're using organic products. We're trying to make sure we're using products, our agarbattis, when you use a regular agarbatti and our agarbatti incense sticks or the dhoop sticks and everything, you would notice there's a change. The smoke, the charcoal, we're trying to make sure it is charcoal free. We're trying to make sure it is that, the dust is not there and all of those things. All of those things. So, Bhavna, now, nowadays, these kind of things, these are hygiene checks. You don't even talk about it because these are basic. You have to make sure they have it. If you want to build your brand, you have to make sure you have it. Again, depends what kind of brand you are. And if 20 years of in corporate, I don't do this, then who does this?
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
you're right. We're making sure that our products are conscious products.
Perfect. And so, do you see that our generation and the generation that comes after us, they are ready to pay a premium for an organic product? They're ready to spend a little more out of their pocket if they feel that the brand is a more conscious brand?
Bhavna, it's a very tricky question right now. We're trying to solve that. India is a very tricky market, very very tricky market. ये वो market है जहाँ पे सबसे सस्ती चीज उनको best quality में चाहिए. This is the market, like you know, unlike other matured markets, like you know your US market, your UK market are very matured markets that ways. India में it's a little tricky. When it depends on what kind of I would say depends on what kind of industry you are in, what kind of sector you're in. A fashion product, these people are ready to pay whatever they want to. You know, like you buy the same top, which you buy the same top from a brand like Zara for $3,000, and you can probably buy it from a designer for about $15,000-20,000 also. And sometimes it doesn't pinch. You know, it doesn't pinch because they know. But the moment it comes to products like these, you want organic, you want sustainability, you want everything, but you don't want to pay, you know, an obnoxious price. You want to be a little somewhere there. I'll be very honest, we're still trying with Harghar Pooja, we're still trying to solve that. But I also have another brand which is into fashion. Over there, we realize it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Price doesn't matter there.
The more premium it is, maybe like it is assumed that the quality would be even better.
Exactly.
So yeah. So there are two very different takes when it comes to these two different products. Because the way puja items have always been purchased, I think with a fashion product, it's very personal to you. You are going to wear it. It's going to reflect your personality. People are going to sort of see you. With a puja product, until unless there are guests coming in, you're going to use it for your puja, which from a long time you've seen being purchased from a nukkar or from your grocery shops or smaller shops, or maybe now after some time D-marts and big bazaars.
Correct.
So the comparison maybe comes there with you see Manish Malhotra fashion show coming on, on screens you'll see a Manish Malhotra show and aspire for it, but you won't really see such a display of a puja product. So how do you sort of, but when you have to make an organic product, I'm assuming that the amount of the cost that goes into manufacturing such a product will be higher than what you find somewhere else.
Slightly, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, we like you said, like पूजा product तो आप अपने गली के नुक्कड़ से खरीद लेते हैं, but वो ही change करना है, वो ही shift लेकर आ रहे हैं. That's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to educate people that you paying a little extra because of this reason, and that's what we're doing. There, you have different consumers. There are different buckets of consumers. I do have consumer who's okay to pay that much. The moment I get into that category of, probably somewhere between 30 to 40-year-old, they're okay to pay whatever price because they're earning that much और कहीं पे इतना वो है नहीं. But the moment you're in that 20 वाला zone, or, that 20-year वाला zone, like, that age bracket from 18 to 20, 25, वहाँ पे वो लोग नहीं pay करना चाहते हैं. But like you said, very rightly said, it's a very unorganized market, and we are trying to organizing it. Which is going to take time. But fashion, for example, like it's because it's for you. It's to make you feel, make you look good. And when it is about making you feel good, there's no price for it. You quickly want to pay for it. And that's what, like I said, with my other brand, we're noticing that in fashion, people are ready to pay, like, $50 is a price which people are ready to pay. It doesn't matter to them. $50, $100 doesn't matter.